Hello, this is Unit 6, Lesson 3. We're looking at solving rational equations. We're going to take some of what we did in Lesson 2 with adding and subtracting and help us use that to solve rational equations. The first step, or the first way to solve is if you have one fraction on either side, you can cross multiply. Okay? So again, this is only when you've got an equation can you do this. Okay, so cross multiplying means we're taking those two and multiplying them together and these two and multiplying them together. Alright, so you got 2 times x plus 1 equals 5 times x minus 5. Right? So be careful to distribute correctly. There could be negatives. In this case, there's not. 2x plus 2 equals 5x minus 25. All right, now to simplify and solve for x, let's subtract 2x from both sides. And let's add 25 to both sides. Okay. So we got 3x equals 27, x equals 9. One thing you got to be careful of, you have to make sure whatever you get makes sense in this equation. So you could have extraneous solutions for this as well. Okay, the key here is making sure the denominator is not 0. Okay, if the denominator is 0, that means the expression is undefined, and that's no good. Okay? So if you plug 9 in, you get 10 here and 4 here, so that's okay. Alright, so x equals 9 is a valid solution. Go ahead and try number 1 and check your answers when you come back. Alright, so this one's a little bit trickier. You had to FOIL right here. Make sure you FOIL correctly, obviously. Alright, simplify. You get x equals 4, x equals negative 2. Up here is we checked this denominator and we checked this denominator. Those are all good, so both solutions are valid. Okay, good to go. Let's look at the next type. So it's a little more involved, but try to keep the basic principles here in mind. If you're going to add and subtract fractions, you have to have a what? Common denominator. Okay, you look at all these denominators, they're all the same. So we can go ahead and add and subtract as we want. Okay? So let's do the left side. I can just say 1 plus parentheses x minus 4. You should always use parentheses when you're combining these numerators. Okay? And this is all over x squared minus 4x equals 4 over x squared minus 4x. Okay? So let's think about this logically. Do we want to combine this and try to cross multiply? You could do that and you'll get the same answer. Alright? But this is an equation. The denominators are the same. Okay? For this equation to be true, that means the numerators have to be the same as well. So all you have to do is set the numerators equal to each other. Okay? So on the left side, I get x minus 3 equals 4. Okay? X equals 7. Alright, plug that into the bottom. There's only one denominator. Alright, so we get 49 minus 28. We know that doesn't equal 0. X equals 7 works. Okay? Go ahead and try number 2. Alright, let's look at this one. So our numerator ends up being x plus 5 minus x minus 3. Make sure you distribute that negative. You should get a plus 3 here. All of that equals x minus 1. Solve for x. Check your answer. Everything looks good. All right. Let's look at the last type. Okay. So in this situation, we do not have a common denominator. So we're going to take what we did when we added and subtracted and apply that here. We're going to set up a common denominator, and we're going to set numerators equal to each other, or you could also cross multiply. All right. So let's just factor the bottom. All right, you'll get x plus 4 over, or excuse me, x plus 4 times x minus 1 equals 1 over x minus 1. So to have a common denominator, we need to multiply the right side by, okay, x plus 4. So we know the denominators are the same. I'm going to go ahead and set the numerators equal to each other. I've got x squared minus 6x minus 4 equals x plus 4. Set it equal to 0 and solve. X squared minus 7x minus 8 equals 0. All right, so factor x minus 8 and x plus 1. X equals 8, x equals negative 1. All right, let's check these answers. So 8 and negative 1. Careful with this one. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. That's okay. 8 minus 1 is 7. Okay. Could be tricky on the left side, so let's do negative 1 squared. That's going to be minus 3 minus 4. 1 minus 7. You good? Is he good? That's fine. Thanks. All right, so negative 1 is good. Let's try 8. So you get 64 plus 24 minus 4. Okay, that's not going to equal 0, so that's good. So x equals 8 and x equals negative 1 are both valid. All set to go there. So remember, common denominator, set the numerators equal. You could also cross multiply. Okay, whatever makes the most sense to you. Okay, so go ahead and try number 3. All right, so this is a situation where you got to kind of pay attention to what you're doing. You could find a common denominator on the right side if you wanted to, so the numerator is equal. That should still work. Okay, but I just found a common denominator on the left, and then I cross multiplied. All right, and I'm not subtracting anything, so it would be hard to make these denominators 0. So this is good. All right, so that is solving rational functions by finding common denominators and cross-multiplying or setting numerators equal to each other. As always, bring your questions to class, and we'll see you then.